So Elisha wanted to find out how to find the target audience. So here's the thing. In fact, Elisha, if you have my access to my latest Facebook ads training, I actually dedicate one, module, which is about an hour ish, talking about how I actually do my audience targeting. There are several audience targeting techniques that I apply, and basically, it's really about understanding the logic. You see, when it comes to Facebook advertising, there are a few fundamental targeting so-called abilities such as gender, location, age group, and these are gender, location, and age are something that would very unlikely to go wrong. And then after that, of course, we have all these like interest targeting, detailed targeting, and this is where people get a little bit obsessive because they always believe that there must be some like secret source or like winning formula to find the audience targeting. But here's what I think. All right, here's what I think. We shouldn't over dependent on the detailed targeting because these are actually based on what Facebook believe you're interested in. Let me give you some very simple example. One of the classic example that I always give is, when I was actually running agency work, running my digital agency where I manage Facebook ads for other people. There was a time I went to a real estate developer and the manager spoke to me and said, Jason, I know who I want to target because my product are about 1.5 to 2 million ringgit kind of like property. You got to target people with, like interests like Porsche, Maserati, like I don't know what else, Ferrari and all these, because, only people who like these kind of luxury cars or stuffs are interested in my product. They can afford my product. But the other way around, I was asking him, look, my friend, I mean, no offense, I was calling him sir because I was young. I was saying, well, sir, no offense, right? I like all these pages because I like cars, but that doesn't make me able to afford one. It's just because liking a page does not mean you can afford one, right? Liking LV doesn't mean you can afford one. I mean, no offense, this is not to actually discriminate anyone, but I guess this is really the way that we need to actually have to understand the differences on like which detailed targeting you should be choosing. So yeah, the other example that I always give is like, when you're actually getting married, for example, right? When you want to get married, you are very likely to go and find a lot of pages about like wedding photography, wedding gown, like bridal house and all this kind of stuff, right? But let me ask you this question. After you get married, do you unlike those pages? You don't, right? So technically, Facebook can still label you as interested in wedding related stuff because you like all these pages. So these are all the things that goes into detailed targeting. So in my opinion, okay, the best tool is really understanding your business. Like I always believe every business understand their people, like like where they stay, what kind of age. I mean, there are many ways to test, which I share with you already in the training. But I would say it's more important for us to observe, the effectiveness of the campaign as we move along. Like I've seen, like recently I just onboarded a coaching client from that is actually running a store in the state. They are also in a way pretty depending on the so-called detailed targeting, and they play too much combination of it, which in a way, it may actually hurt your effectiveness of the campaign in the long run. So this is what I have for you. I guess it's just about understanding the key concept and really using it a lot and understand what kind of audience works better for you. Because when it comes to audience targeting, it's a very deep topic. Okay, there are a lot of things that we can actually look into. There are a lot of combinations, but I would say it's about mastering the fundamentals and eventually knowing what works for you and probably even come out with your own methodology, right? Yeah, and Shiva was saying just to resonate, right? The detailed targeting on the luxury things using the keywords, tried that, failed badly. Liking, following certain luxury brands doesn't mean they can afford it or, are the affordable group. I agree, right? So that's why play with it, understanding the fundamentals and monitor the effectiveness. That's why I always believe, in fact, setting up the ads is actually the easiest part. But what comes next is really about the numbers. You really have to use the numbers to support your hypothesis, whether is your ad working, is your audience working, and stuff like that. But nonetheless, right, not just for Elisha, but just any one of you who that kind of like run ads and you want to have a more meaningful discussion with me one-on-one, for me to look into your campaign performance, whether it's your audience targeting settings, whether it's your creative, you can actually scan this QR code, buy me a coffee, and we can spend half an hour together to actually look at whatever settings you have, whatever success you have, or probably some mistakes you make, how to actually leverage on the success you have or to avoid making the same mistake in the future. It's called the one-on-one Facebook ads analysis or audit. Just scan this QR code, okay, and you will be, landing on my Fiverr page. Just buy me a coffee and we can spend half an hour together to look at your campaign.